pressed a lot last year.
Right.
Do you have a good idea what they're going to do this year? Obviously, a lot of these teams, their rosters turn over so much.
Yeah, I think that's always the key in the first game. Like when you don't have any film on somebody, they obviously have film on us because of the Arkansas game, and you have to go on what they did last year, but you also got to be prepared for anything happening. And just they're going to press, they're going to mix up their zone and their man, and you just got to do a good job of playing basketball and moving the basketball, especially when they're mixing up their defenses. But they do a good job. He's a good coach, and they got a lot of new personnel, but everybody has a lot of new personnel. That's kind of the way college basketball is now. But no, they're a well-coached team and they play hard, and they have very good scheme in terms of pressing, zone pressing, man pressing, running and jumping, trapping. They do a lot of different things to make you think.
Is this one of those games you kind of seek out because of their style of play? You always want your team to see a lot of different things early in the year.
Well, they won their league. You want to play teams. Our first two, games we played, both of those teams won their league, and then obviously Xavier and Sean Miller are, a very, very good program. It's going to be all of them are going to be tough games, but you want to play successful programs. You want to get where you're challenged. You want to get to where you have different styles that you mentioned. Because you can't, when you get into those MTEs and you get into the NCAA tournament, you can't pick who you play. It's not conference basketball, it's not non-conference basketball. Now you win a game and now you have one opponent. Now you lose a game, you have another opponent in those MTEs. So it becomes a little bit different, but you're just trying to get your team ready to play and improve your team from game to game.
Will it be the same starting lineup?
Yes.
And then with them, they've got a transfer, Graziani, 5'8" kid. Mm-hmm. Is that something you guys look to attack on the offensive end?
Not really. He's a good player. I know his previous coach at Nova Southeastern when they won the national championship. I've heard him speak at a couple clinics, and but just watching his clips, he's shifty, can break you down, can shoot off the dribble, knows how to play. That change of direction, change of speed. So we got to do a good job of, not just him, but we got to do a good job of keeping their guards in front of us.
After two exhibitions, do you have a pretty good idea where Cam and Miles fit in at this point, or is that still a process?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a process. It's the numbers, more than anything. Who can, really help us. I think Cam has put himself in a good position in comparison, just because, defensively and rebounding. Obviously, they both can make shots, but just kind of, learning a system and, him being here for 2 years. But, both of those guys got a chance to really help us this year. But it'll be interesting to see how things unfold. I think things will be different with different styles, but I also think it's, they're both really good players. So if they can get some minutes and be productive in those minutes, I definitely think, that will enhance and they'll get more of an opportunity.
Miles is absolutely playing, right?
What's that?
Miles is absolutely playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At this point last season, I know you were using an 11-player rotation in the scrimmages and the exhibition games, and you said something like you trust 7 guys, play 6. Do you feel like
I was joking when I said that.
Do you feel like but you mentioned trust again kind of in the press conference. Do you feel like you found those guys that you trust in these last few exhibition games?
I think you're still in that spot. I think you feel good about the people that have played for you before, and you're just uncertain. Like those guys that they mentioned, Miles and Cam, they're going to be good players. Like, when are they going to be good players? Probably when they get more of an opportunity. So they got to get out there in short minutes and be able to be productive so they can get more minutes. They got to be better in practice against people, because it's all relative, right? It's the competition in practice and the improvement in practice that you see. So it's just not them, it's everybody. And I think that's going to be kind of the telltale.
Ethan had 0 shots against Arkansas, 2 against Grace College. Do you feel like he's playing within the flow of the offense, or you want him to be a little more aggressive?
I just want him to take whatever comes his way. Just take what the defense gives you. More than anything, just do a lot of little things for us, whether the guarding, rebounding, understanding what's going on. Just play to your strengths. I thought he passed up on a shot that he should have taken in the Grace game. But just be about winning. He's about winning. And he's going to play a lot of different spots, a lot of different positions. So just kind of giving us as a glue guy, what we need in each game.
Is he your backup point guard right now, or is Lance?
I would say Lance is. I think he can get in there and run the point, When people press and people do different things, I think he's more suited to the 2 and 3, giving us that second and third ball handler instead of being a primary ball handler against guys that are going to do all the things that they do.
Do you feel like you know what your best offense and defensive lineup is right now? No, because you're kind of just waiting to see how things happen against different styles. It's such a broad question. Right.
Because I think you can be better with certain people against different styles and vice versa. It's trying to get the right pieces together. Then sometimes you have those lineups that are that's your best lineup no matter who you're playing, right? And maybe that's the case. You just don't know yet. I think time will tell, who's best for us.
My apologies if this
You're good.
has been asked. We were logged out. Do you have a connection with Bucky, or how did you end up with St. Louis?
No, I don't. I've never met him. So just wanting to play good programs. They won their league last year. I know one of their assistants. We played him when he was a Division II head coach, Danny Young, and one of my former guys that I was an assistant head coach at Southern Illinois was his assistant. So that's how we ended up playing him when he was a Division II coach at Montevallo, and now he's assistant there. So we had talked, but we were really just searching out good programs, like teams that have been successful. So obviously they won their league. Morehead State won their league. Xavier's been great, for a long, long time. I know that gets assigned for us, but that's our first 3 games, before we go, and play in the Maui. So.
How do you feel about your mix of the 4 right now? Trey starting, Mason finishing there. Arkansas, Caleb's playing in there a little bit still.
Yeah, love it. We got a lot of options. I think each one of them would like to play more. I know they would like to play more. We have a very deep front line, and just keep looking at it, keep watching, keep trying to help them, and then I think it's going to be like whoever's playing well, no matter who starts. I think Mason played more against Arkansas. He played better. Trey had turned the basketball over. Caleb played more at the 5, but he got minutes. Everybody got minutes, but I think in that group of guys right there's always going to be one guy that you walk away each game. They got 8 minutes, they got 12 minutes, they got 14 minutes, but they need to get more minutes. I think we're going to say that the whole season.
When you look at your roster, how many future NBA players do you feel you have? Is that something you want your program to hang its hat on?
Sure. You want guys that we've been more development. Obviously we've had 3 guys leave early and go to the pros, but the other guys that have been drafted are the guys that have played in the NBA that they've stayed their whole 4 years and sometimes 5 years. So yeah, you want those guys to develop, and I think what we have at Purdue is kind of special because education's a big piece of it. So it's having 2 dreams, having one through education, having one through basketball. So we've had a lot of balance, and I think that's where you see our ability to keep guys. I think we have a good relationship with our players, and we're honest with them, even when there are tough conversations. But also, like when you come here, you want to get your degree from Purdue University and have that balance. There's so many people just running and transferring and making a lot of decisions based simply on basketball, and they're nowhere close to being a pro. And so like they're making basketball decisions, and they should be making education decisions, because education is going to take you a lot longer than basketball outside of the 1%.
When you coached at Southern, obviously the Valley was a good league back then, but when you're at a small school and you get a chance to play a top-notch program, how do you spin that to your guys that, hey, this is an opportunity to really make our team here?
No, it's everything, because those guys didn't get offered by high major schools. Majority of them, they had some transfers that have been in high major schools, but a lot of them, it's proving ground. They want to get and prove that they belong. They want to get on a big stage. You're playing a nationally ranked team in play. So our guys understand that. If our guys don't understand that, what we went through, then they need to take up a different sport. Because think about all of our experiences that we've had. We've had a lot of success, but we've had some heartbreakers, in the NCAA tournament. So that's what we're trying to foil and be better. So if they're going into this game thinking that these guys are just okay, then they're in the wrong locker room.